Okay, it's recording. You ready?
Good, ready, Ron.
Okay.
Tell me, at what point in your life you decided to coach, and why did you decide at that point to become a coach?
Oh man, great question. I would like to think that it was probably after my playing days. All right, I realized I wanted to be around the game of basketball. I started to get older, experiencing some injuries, so I knew I couldn't physically keep playing, but my passion was always basketball. So now what I wanted to do was stay around the game, still impact it, still be a part of it, but just in a different, I guess, in a different light, different degree. So after my playing days, I started to realize always played point guard. I was a leader. I always facilitated the ball. So it was one of those things where coaching just kind of came naturally. It felt like it was the next step. So once my playing days was over, it was like, okay, how can I stay around this game to continue to affect it in a positive way? And right afterwards, that's when I started to really,
If
focus
you had to
and get
pick
into
three
coaching.
adjectives to describe yourself as a player, what would they be and why?
Three adjectives. Great question. Resilient, purpose driven, and I would say empower. Right, like always looking for ways to encourage and uplift my teammates, get them to push past their limits. So I would say resilient, purpose
How
driven,
do you
and
feel who
empower.
you were as a player influenced how you coach today?
I think it has a lot to do with how I coach today, man. Like as a player, I like to think I was a fearless player. Like I think I was a competitor, right? Like that competitive spirit is just always in my family, right? From my brothers to my uncles to my dad. There's always had that competitive spirit. So as a player, it was just something that really, when I was out on the basketball court, I didn't know no other way. It was a fearless competition. It was leave it all out on the line. It was always looking to do my best, but at the same time, leave room for, making mistakes and things of that nature. So as a coach now, that's my mentality. Like when I'm out there, I'm always trying to challenge really the other coach, right? I'm looking to challenge the other team. Like I want them to be fully prepared for everything that I'm about to throw at them. So I'm the type of coach where you can't just focus on one area of the game and just think that's going to be enough to be able to beat a team that I'm coaching. But you have to really spend time in the lab. You have to figure out zones and man and so many different presses and coverages so that you just are prepared to be able to go up against a team like me. So my playing days actually prepared me for the way I coach nowadays. So it's really no different. If you see me how passionate I am about coaching, it's pretty much the same way how I was as a player. So it's been it's been enjoyable so far.
If you had to pick an NBA player that represents the right way to play the game, who would you pick and why?
Great question. NBA player to pick who plays the game the right way. Right now, I would have to say SGA, Shea Gildress Alexander, man. Like I love the way he plays the game. Love the way he gets to his spots. I love the way he lets the game come to him, but then also in moments of when his team really needs him, he knows how to turn it on. He knows how to be aggressive. He's mild mannered, meaning that it's not a lot of emotion to him, right? It's business trip every time he's out on the floor. Uh, and it's enjoyable to see that somebody at such a young age is so poised, so competitive as he is, to be able to lead his team to ultimately, one of the greatest feats that you can accomplish as a human to win a national champ or the NBA championship. So right now I would have to give it to SGA, man. I think he embodies basketball in its totality and actually plays the game the right
How do
way
you
to
as
the
a
highest
coach
level.
get your players to buy into their roles on the team?
It's a great question, man. Phew. If I had that answer, man, I think I'd bottle it up and try to sell it, man. But I think honestly, to answer the question, I think you just got to be genuine, man. I think the things in which you want your players to actually embody, the things that you want them to embrace, I think it has to be in your DNA, right? I think it has to be something that you model to your students and to your players every single day, right? So one of the things that I want my team to play is extremely hard. I want them to be able to compete every play, every practice, every possession. Now, I can say that in theory, but in the same time, I have to model that, meaning I have to show them in areas of my life where I'm nonstop competing, right? Where I'm constantly looking for ways to improve, where I'm constantly looking for ways to challenge myself to be better. So I think really getting your team to buy into what you're looking to getting your team to buy into ultimately your goal and what you see for them within the team has to first start with me as the leader. Now, mind you, it's going to take time, right? Just depending on how old your team is and how long they've been together. But I think just through uh, daily habits, right, leads to instincts. And the more and more they see you modeling the things that you actually are requiring them to do, I think it's a little bit more easier for them to actually embrace exactly what you expect from them, what you want
Of
them to
all the
do.
coaches in any professional sport, who do you admire the most and why?
Out of all the coaches and all the sports, who do I admire and why? That's a phenomenal question, man. Jay Wright. Jay Wright, my God, man. Like I will have to say Jay Wright. Um, why is because his mindset, right? He really embraced this team attitude with his teams when he was coaching at Villanova. And the premise behind attitude was that's the only thing that we can control out on the court and life in general. And up until then, I never really understood that concept. It was something that I heard him say, but never fully understood it until I got the ability to actually go to one of his practices or a few of his practices and seen him actually teaching on the same concept. So when he speaks of attitude, it's literally opposition and adversity is actually happening right in the moment. How do you respond from that, right? Like you can't avoid the opposition adversity, right? It's going to be there, but how do you respond to it? And I seen it when they won their last championship against North Carolina. And the point guard, I think it was Page, came down, and it's a tie game. Villanova is playing phenomenal defense. He goes up for a shot, he double clutches it, contested, he makes it. And literally everybody after the game, all I heard them saying was attitude, well, during the game, attitude coming over to the bench. With that type of mentality, you would think that if they double clutch, they seen the guy make the shot, that you would be frustrated. Like you would be really upset. Like, darn, I played great defense, and yet and still this is what happened. That wasn't it. They embraced it. They embodied it. They came over to the bench. They was locked into what the next play was. And, like everybody's seen, they inbound the ball, come down, kick back to Chris Jenkins. Jenkins hits the three. They win the game. But what's more special than that was Jay Wright's response. Like he didn't jump up. He didn't run. He didn't go dive and hug every player. He seen the shot go up and just said, bang. And I walked over and shook the coach hand as if like he just knew it was going to happen. But even if it didn't happen, I think the response of his team after the play that North Carolina made and how they came over and embraced the concept of attitude, I think he would have been happy if the game would have went the other way as well. It's just, Chris Jenkins had a big shot. So Jay Wright for sure.
If you had to choose, would you rather have your team built around offense or defense and why?
Oh man, defense. Defense, defense, defense. And the reason why I say defense is because you only can control what you can control out there, right? So you can have the best warm up. You can see every shot go in. You can have the best pregame, whatever, right? And for whatever reason, you can go out there and really miss every shot. Like you can't control if you're going to make shots or not, right? So I hear a lot of kids when I ask them, "Hey, how was your game?" "Oh man, we lost because we weren't hitting shots." And I cringe when I hear that because I'm like, it's not totally about making shots, right? Like you're going to have off days, but what about defense? And the reason why I speak of defense is because you can control defense. You can control your energy and effort. Defense is nothing but energy, effort, heart, intentionality of getting it done, right? So those are the things that you can control, right? Your energy and effort, you can always bring your best, right? I like to think like your best is required on a daily basis. Bring your best when your best is required, and that's daily. All right. So when I look at it from a defensive standpoint, there's never a time when my team could come to me and say we had an off night on defense. No, that's impossible, right? I mean, you guys just didn't work hard. You guys didn't buy into what our defensive principles was and we just really just let the team do what they wanted to do. So I'm a defensive minded guy. Like I've been bred that way. I've always been a defensive minded guy. I love offense. It has his place in the game. You need to score, but I think my personality and who I am, I'm always looking for the scrappiest, the grittiest, the toughest team on the court. Like I want players and teams and coaches to shake our hand after the game and be like, "Man, your team is tough. Like we might have lost, we might have won, but I want them leaving the court thinking this is one of the toughest teams I've ever played in the country." So
Now, every
definitely
basketball
defense.
coach has an assistant coach. What strengths would you like your assistant coach to bring to the team and why?
Great question, man. I need an assistant coach, so it's I'm still searching. But really, honestly, just growth mindset, right? Learning how to. I think learning when it comes to coaching that the best way to get a response from your players is to show them that you care, right? So I like to think that I show my players that I care before I correct, right? Like I'm whatever position I am, I may be taking over a new position, I might be coaching the old team, but before we can fully develop a rapport with each other, I got to show that I care about you. And caring means it's aside from basketball, right? Basketball is a small smidget of these kids' career. I want to know who you are as a player, who you are as a young man, right? Like, what do you like doing outside of basketball? How's your family life, right? Do you have any brothers or sisters? The players I have now, do you have a girlfriend, right? How is that going, right? Let's see how we can navigate that if issues arise. So try to show that I care before I correct, get them to buy into the fact that Coach Carter is invested into the totality of the human, not just your basketball ability. So from assistant coach standpoint, I would like him to embody the same thing, right? Like not just coming in, um, tearing kids down, but learning how to build them up. And I think the best way to build a kid up is, like I just said, showing that you really truly care about the human being. And then once they see that you care about the human being and everything that they bring to the table, who they are, I think it's easier for you to coach them up afterwards. So definitely just a coach that embodies the same mentality that I have, that you got to care before you correct,
There are
is what
different
I'm looking
coaching
for.
styles for every basketball coach out there. How would you describe your coaching style and what makes it so unique?
So my coaching style is relentless intensity that other teams can't match. Like simple and plain. I want us to be relentless. I want us to be gritty. I want us to be dogs. I want us to be hungry. I want us to really, when we get out on the court, um, really show everybody in the gym that by far we're the toughest team out there, right? And that starts with me. So I'm an up tempo type coach. I want you to be challenged. I want to pressure, but then I'm also willing to make adjustments as well. If things doesn't go according to playing within the game, you got to make adjustments. But my style personally is speed you up, right? Challenge you to take quick shots. I like to use the term check your temperature, right? Meaning that I just want to see, is he prepared? Is that kid prepared for every possible aspect of basketball, right? Have you seen this before? Have you seen that before? Because I like to look at it as basketball is like chess, right? Like I'm purposely doing things to see what your next move is so that I can possibly counter. And if I find a weakness, which I usually do in all games, like try to find your weakness, that's where I try to capitalize. So just a relentless guy, man. Like I want us to not match intensity, but set the tone. Like I want us to be the team that they have to match and not necessarily us going out there and trying to match their intensity. So just, playing with passion, intensity, and being relentless out there.
Every basketball coach has highs and lows in their careers of coaching. What would you say is your lowest point in your career?
Mm, the lowest point in my career. Hmm, it's a good question. I would probably say to date, uh, I think when we lost at the Palestra. I was I was tough, man. We lost to Roman Catholic. Like I think to date, uh, and that's just me being assistant coach to a program. But I think that was a hurt piece. Like I literally left that game and was like, like they just knocked all the air out of me. Like I was so convinced that we were gonna go out there and win that game without a shadow of a doubt. I mean, we prepared, we were ready. Um, the guys was ready. They were hungry. The fans was there. The school was behind us. Coach Fisher put our team through a phenomenal 2 weeks of practice. Like really had everything scouted to what Roman was going to do. Unfortunately, we just came up a little short. So if I had to date and say what was my lowest point, I would probably say, yeah, that Roman Catholic game, losing at the Palestra. It still stings and it even hurt to talk about it as well. So, yeah, the Palestra.
Every basketball coach at
Uh,
some point in their career was an assistant coach. What would you say the most important thing you learned from being an assistant coach was?
The most important thing I learned, I would really say from Coach Fisher, was just that, um, man, just being prepared, right? Like just coming in every day prepared with a game plan, right? Like not just winging it, not just pulling things out of the sky, but being deliberate, right? Like being intentional. I think being with Coach Fisher, to me, I think Coach Fisher is by far the greatest coach I've ever been around, like hands down. His mind works differently. Like he sees the game different. I joke with him all the time that, man, if you get some 5-star athletes, like I don't think he ever lose a game, man. I really don't. Like I just think he sees the game different from any other coach I've ever seen or ever been around. So just being next to him over the last couple years, as well as Coach O'Hara, Coach Sauer, Coach Carroll, Coach Duncan, Coach Magnum, just being around just all the coaches, honestly, just seeing how much time and commitment they put into their craft, right? It wasn't something that was just a activity that they did as like a hobby, but each person on our staff is like passionate about it, right? Like they really, really are passionate about teaching the game of basketball and using basketball as a vehicle to teach life lessons. So just being around him and seeing how he prepared, seeing how he got kids motivated, seeing how he took a team and actually built it all the way through. I think that's another thing I noticed too, just building a program, right? Like when he first started, he shared a story of how things were totally different than when I finally came on board. But to see to where he took the program to and where he keep on taking the program to, it's admirable. So just really being attention to detail, being prepared, and coming in every day with a game plan. And I think just being alongside and laboring with him the last 5 years, it prepared me even more for the head coach position that I'm currently in now.
Every basketball coach goes through tough losses in basketball. What was your toughest loss, and how has that loss impacted how you coach today?
Um, so I would go back. Tough loss, tough loss. Mm, I'll still say a Roman game, right? Like it was tough for numerous reasons because first time at the Palestra, like I said, we had all the fans there. I think we ended up losing by double digits. And I just think, I think we were the better team, right? I just think they were better that night, but overall, I think we were the better team. Um, the takeaway from that game was I teach building resiliency here. So obviously it was something that I believe not only as a coaching staff but as a players, I think we had to experience that, right? Like I truly believe what God has next for the entire coaching staff as well as those players. This was our rites of passage, meaning we had to go through this in order to be prepared for whatever next He has for us, right? So I had to process that from that lens that it's not over. That all great things start typically with defeat. And as I mentioned before, like Jay Wright, attitude. How do you respond from that? Right. So losing it was really tough. But I think overall, just seeing the mindset of those players, seeing the coaches, and how um, we didn't take a couple steps back. It motivated us to keep on pressing forward. We got a taste of the Palestra, so it motivated us to keep on pressing to see if we can get there again and accomplish and make sure the outcome is a little different. But I think just honestly, man, just building that resiliency from that, man. I really think us losing was our rites of passage. So I think if any of those players was ever to face a game like that and be in a tough situation like that moving forward, I think that taste of defeat earlier on in their career, losing to Roman, I think is going to prepare them for the next level, as well as myself, as well as the coaching staff. So,
When you walk into every practice, what is your main goal every time you walk in the practice, and how do you think that goal has affected the players you coach today?
it's the same thing as when I walk in the classroom. I try to walk in every room and leave every room, every person that I encounter better than how I found it. Like that's truly my goal. I really think that's one of my purposes in life. Um, Even though I go through my own challenges, I go through my own opposition, I go through my own adversity, I think that it's a divine opportunity when I get a chance to come across anybody in my path. And I'm cognizant of that, right? Like I'm very conscious of I'm leading young men, I'm leading young fathers, I'm leading young husbands, I'm leading young sons, leading young brothers. So my thing is really just leaving them better than how I found them, right? Like they might have a tough day at school. The students might have a tough day at home, for whatever reason, right? Like life's right. Life is happening on a daily basis. So I like to think when they come across Coach Carter and they're in my presence, no matter what you're going through, what you're experiencing, hopefully I can share a proverb, I can share a quote, I can motivate you, I can esteem you, I can just something in you of positivity that's going to take you from where you are, and just make you a little bit better. And it doesn't even have to be a quantum leap. When I'm talking about being better, is just 1%, right? It could just be a hug. It could be just be a tap on the shoulder. It could just be I'm proud of you. It could just be give me a fist pump, right? But just trying to read the room and understand that I'm entrusted. God bestowed this on my desk. So every person that I come across, every room that I walk into, naturally I gotta leave it better than how I found it. And that helps with my coaching because I can be honest, I get a little crazy out there when I'm coaching, man. I'm very demanding, but I just think the core of who I am, when I do sometimes get off the beaten trail, I think the core reminds me of Brennan, this is your why. So maybe you were a little too harsh in that moment. Cool. And then I reevaluate, recalculate, and chances are I'm always doubling back to make sure that how I responded or how I acted, that player, that student didn't take it a way that I didn't intend it for it to be, if that makes sense, right? So just really just making sure that I'm buying into what I'm saying and just being cognizant of the fact that I'm teaching, I'm leading young men. So making sure that everything is what I said in the beginning, that I care before I correct. But man, that definitely
In
would
your
be it.
whole coaching career, what was your most memorable moment and what made that moment so special?
Most memorable moment. Uh, it would be winning a state championship, man. Like it was something I never experienced before. Right, I got close when I was in Delaware playing high school basketball, at the Bob Carpenter Center. My first year as a freshman, I got a taste of it. Went to the Bob Carpenter, but we lost. Since then, never been back to a state championship as a player or a coach. So to get what 3 at Devon Prep, it was special. What made it even more special was my kids was a part of it. Right, like that's what made it extremely meaningful because I got to accomplish something at a high level with them being there to actually witness their dad accomplishing something. And it made them proud. Like my son, we constantly joke about it. We always laugh about the experience of the first one. Um, my daughter as well. So just even seeing my daughter the first championship and then seeing her the third championship, just seeing the growth in her. But I think winning ultimately the championship was probably the highlight of my coaching career thus far. But the icing on the cake was being able to share the opportunity with my kids, them being there present to kind of see me accomplish that as well. So,
In games where your players don't meet your expectations as a coach, how do you handle post game talks with your players?
oh man, that's a great question. I like to think that my expectation turns to our expectations, right? So I don't want to wear them down. I don't want to put too much added pressure on them to where they think that they're performing for Coach Carter. It's not the case, right? Like we have a set of principles of play. our set of principles of play, or it's our set of principles of play. Like I set the tone for what they will be, but then it's up to them to embody it, to carry it through. But I think with anything, right, we're always going to find ourselves in situations that we're less than our best, right? And being less than your best doesn't necessarily, it's not necessarily a bad thing. It's identifying in that moment or identifying afterwards that I was less than my best, that the standards in which we set upon ourselves in the program weren't met. And then let's talk about it. Why weren't they met, right? Was it something that you was dealing with psychologically, to where what we talked about earlier, having issues at home, or dealing with, illness, or mom is sick, dad is sick, girl? Like it's so many different factors as to why a kid may be less than their best. And, nowadays, a lot of times it happens between the shoulders, right? So if we come up short, we less than our best, I like to just sit back, reevaluate. And I like to put the onus back on me. Maybe I didn't do a good job of coaching them that week. Like maybe I didn't do a good job of preparing them. Maybe I didn't do a good enough job of explaining exactly what the game plan was for this specific game. So it's tough in the moment, right? Because you don't get a chance to see the film. So I always was wondering why, like after games, especially in the pros, why they interviewed the coach or the players immediately after a game. You feel with emotions. And a lot of times you see that things spill out or things are said that honestly the coach or player really doesn't mean. It's because of, they're running off adrenaline and emotion at the time. So um, I like to keep the onus on me right now because I'm dealing with young men, young kids. So I really don't like to pass the torch or put the burden on them, but more so, how can I be better, right? How can I convey my message a little better? How can I get them to buy into exactly what I'm looking from them? And then also them to actually embody it and go out and know that, okay, I was less than my best. How do we respond from that, right? Do we come back at practice and we waddle in it? We come back the next day of practice. Do we keep our head down? Do we feel ashamed? Do we feel embarrassed? Hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we experience a little bit of, adversity. We come back together, we talk about it, we process it, but then we get right back to where our core values are, right? And as long as we keep the core values where our core values are, then, you know, regardless if we win every game, regardless if we lose every game, if you leave it all out on the court and we just get 1% better every single time, I think that's a growth mindset, right? Like I think that each time the kids want to step up to a challenge and actually be a little better after a loss or after a tough game or after us coming up short, I think ultimately it's more fulfilling than actually sometimes winning the game, man. Just seeing how we respond from a loss. So really just taking it on as the leader of the team and coaching my kids up and reassuring them that, hey, we was less than our best, but we get back on track and stick to what we know what we can do. I think we can accomplish great things. So just taking it on the shoulder as myself as being a leader. Thank you. Thank you, Ryan. Appreciate it.
Ah, there we go.